Hello my loves, Tony here from TL Yarn Crafts and welcome back to my channel. Here in my neck of the woods, we're living in a winter wonderland, full-on snow day vibes, and that means I get to stay home and crochet a lot. I recently finished this tricolor linen stitch blanket for my cousin who's about to have her very first baby. She said she wanted pink and teddy bears, and I was like, sis, I got you. I am obsessed with how this blanket turned out, and I can't wait to share this technique with you. Now, before we get into the tutorial, I have an especially special announcement from today's video sponsor, Skillshare. So if you've been here for a while, you know that Skillshare has been an integral part in building this channel. Their sponsorship has meant so much to me, and I've really enjoyed being on their platform, learning from their amazing teachers. Now, I'm proud to share that I've joined the ranks of Skillshare Originals teachers. My class, Modern Crochet Essentials for Getting Started, launched earlier this month. In just 90 minutes of instruction, I'm helping aspiring crocheters build their foundation. Recording this class was insane and amazing. I was able to go to this really cool Airbnb right here in Columbus, work with an awesome crew, and produce a class that I am super duper proud of. So if you will indulge me, here is the trailer for Modern Crochet. My crochet philosophy is if you can see it, you can make it. I believe that if you're able to put in the time and the effort and the focus, you can ultimately create anything that you see. I'm TLYC, the crochet designer behind TL Yarn Crafts. TL Yarn Crafts started in 2013 as a finished product business and quickly morphed into a design business so that I could share my ideas with my larger crochet community. I also have branched into teaching both online and in person, and I just wrote my first book, the Tunisian Crochet Handbook. Today we're creating a set of 4 modern coasters so you can create this beautiful, usable thing to either keep for yourself or to give as gifts. We're going to talk through the foundations of crochet. So really understanding yarn and fiber, getting to know our tools, basic stitches like single crochet, double crochet, adding a border to our project, and those finishing steps that will make your coasters polished. This class is for anyone with an interest in crocheting, whether you are trying crochet for the very first time or picking up a hook after a long hiatus. This is a great place to reintroduce yourself to yarn and hooks. I hope that by the end of this class, you walk away with the confidence and the excitement to work your next crochet project and take that in whatever direction your heart desires. Now let's get started. I'm sharing this news with the purest of excitement. I just can barely contain myself. So if you or somebody you know is finally ready to learn how to crochet, check out Modern Crochet on Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to use the link down in my description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And if you do decide to take my class, pretty please leave a review, add your project. That kind of traction on my class just helps to get that instruction in front of other aspiring crocheters. Now let's give some love to our cup of caffeine sponsor. I have already had my caffeine for the day, so it's just water for me. Our cup of caffeine sponsor is named Jane Powers. When donating, Jane said, "I took up knitting again a few years ago after a hiatus of 25 years. When I got curious about Tunisian crochet, I found your videos. They were so easy to understand, and you are so encouraging and warm. Thank you from Ireland. You are brightening our dark winter days here." Thanks, Jane. You are brightening my dark winter day because, contrary to popular belief, it is very dreary outside. So thank you so much for being so generous and just so very kind. And if you are watching this video right now and want to support my channel, buy me a coffee. Who knows, I might shout you out in my next video. Now let's talk about the tricolor linen stitch. For today's tutorial, we're using Swish Worsted from WeCrochet, and big thanks to WeCrochet for providing the yarn for today's tutorial. Swish Worsted is a category 4 worsted weight yarn. It's 100% superwash merino wool. I personally love the squish and bounce of this yarn. I also appreciate that it's machine washable and dryable. I used this yarn for an entire year making my 2020 temperature blanket, and I can tell you after an entire year, I love this yarn even more. In In addition to this yarn, I'm using a 6mm crochet hook. This one comes from Crochet Styles, linked down in the description. When it comes to the tricolor linen stitch, I personally like to use my deepest color first, so that'll be my A color, my mid color is going to be B, and my lightest color is going to be C. Your C color is also going to be the color that we use for the border if you choose to put one on your project. We're starting with our A color, and just in case you're wondering, I caked my yarn because I find it's a little bit easier to use in this format as opposed to the original skein. So I'm pulling from the center, and I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'll place that on my hook. I like to use a 1-row repeat for the linen stitch, and to do that stitch pattern we need to start with an odd number of chains. So I'm going to chain 25. With my slip knot on my hook, I'm going to bring the yarn from the back around the hook and pull through for 1 chain. Here's 2 and 3, 4 and 5, up to 25. So now I have my 25 chains, and I'm going to find the 3rd chain from my hook. So here's my 1st chain, 2nd, and here's the 3rd. Insert your hook into the 3rd chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, and we're going to complete a single crochet here. Yarn over and pull through 2 to complete your single crochet. Follow that with a chain 1. We're going to skip the next chain, single crochet in the following chain. Chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the following chain. And we're going to repeat that down the line, and our last single crochet will go in our last chain. So we have 2 chains left here. We're going to skip the next chain and single crochet in our last chain. We're also going to be changing color here too. So insert your hook into that last chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. We've got 2 loops on our hook, and we're going to drop this color, and we're going to grab our B color, yarn over, leaving a long tail, and pull through those last 2 loops. We've now changed color. We're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now, one of the important things about working with this technique is that you'll want to turn your work the same way each time. I personally like to turn my work away from me, but if you turn it towards you, just make sure you're consistent. So now we've chained 2. We have a single crochet at the base of our chain. We're going to skip that single crochet and go into the next chain space, which is right here, and place a single crochet. Chain 1, single crochet in the next space. So we've got a single crochet right here between my thumbs, which means the space is right here, right after it. Chain 1, single in the next space. Chain 1, single in the next space. And we're going to repeat that across the line. Single in the next space, chain 1, and our last space is actually the starting chain 2 that we skipped. So we're going to insert our hook right into that chain 2 space at the end of our row and pull up a loop. We're going to change color again. This time we're going to our last color, this white here. We'll yarn over with our white yarn, leaving a long tail to weave in later, and pull through. Then we'll chain 2, and again I'm turning my work away from me just to be consistent with my turns. That's really going to help me make sure that my yarns don't get too tangled. So again, we've got a single crochet here at the base of our chains. We're going to skip that single crochet and single crochet into the following space right here. Chain 1, single in the next space. Chain 1, single in the next space. And we're going to repeat that down the line. We're at the end of our row again. We have a single crochet here and then that starting chain 2 space. So here's where we're going to change color, and this is what your color changes will look like for the rest of your project. So we're going to insert our hook into that chain 2 space, yarn over and pull up a loop. We'll drop our white color, and then the color that's still attached here is that peach. I'm going to bring peach under white, yarn over and pull through. Then I'll chain 2 and turn my work. So what you'll notice is by leaving those colors attached, we always have a color hanging on either side of our work. So as I continue with peach down the line, when I change color, I'll be ready to go to yellow. And then I'll bring yellow across the line this way, and then I can change to white. At the end of my row, I'll insert into my chain 2 space, yarn over, pull up a loop. I'm going to bring yellow under peach, yarn over, and pull through, chain 2, and turn my work away from me. Single crochet into the next chain space, and repeat that up the line. I'm going to add a few more rows to my work just so you can see what it looks like once you've put some time into it. I've now worked a few more rows on my swatch, and you can really see the beauty of this tricolor striping technique. One thing you'll notice with this technique is that you have floats in your work. That's these little strands of loose yarn, and this is what happens when we pull the yarn up the side of our work. This is how we avoid a bunch of ends to weave in, but we have to address these floats. Now, personally, I think they look totally fine. I don't think they distract from the work at all, but if they're going to bother you, you can add a border to your project. I've completed this last row up to a point because I'm going to use white to put a border around my entire project and hide my floats. First thing I'm going to do is fasten off my other colors, leaving a long tail to weave in those ends. I'm leaving the white attached, and I'm going to weave in these ends really quick. Now that our ends are weaved in, let's focus on the border. So I'm going to grab my crochet hook, insert it back into my live loop. So this is going to be the first edge of my border. Since we're not changing color again, now that I've made my way to this corner, I am going to complete the single crochet. This is now my corner, so I'm going to chain 2, rotate to work along the ends of my row, and place another single crochet in the same place as that previous single crochet. I'm going to now chain 1. I'm going to skip the next row, which is this peach row, and single crochet into this white row. I'm also going to make sure I catch any floats that are behind that stitch. Place a single crochet there. Chain 1, skip a row end, so that's going to be the gold row, and single crochet in the next row, which is the peach row. Chain 1, skip the white, single crochet in gold. Chain 1, skip a row, single in the next row. And I'm going to repeat that all the way down the row. So I did a chain 1, skip 1, single in the next, chain 1, skip 1, single in the next. Now I'm at my corner. I'm going to single crochet in the corner, chain 2, rotate to work along the bottom of my work. So I'm going to show you what the back of this looks like here. We were able to catch our floats, so you can see they're a lot less obvious. Now this is going to be the back of our work, so we won't even be looking here, but either way, it looks very clean and beautiful, just like the front of our work. Here along the bottom, we're going to continue our linen stitch pattern. So we just completed the corner. Next we have a space, and following that we have a single crochet. We're looking at an upside down single crochet right here. So we're going to single crochet in the base of that stitch. Chain 1, skip the next space, single crochet in the base of the next stitch. Chain 1, and repeat that across. So now this will be our corner. We'll chain 2 after that single crochet, rotate and single crochet in that same space again. Now we'll chain 1, skip the next row, which is yellow, single crochet in the white row. Now I want to grab my floats, and as you can see, the floats are kind of on the front of my work here. So I'm going to go under the float and catch the white row, just like this. Chain 1, we're going to skip the pink row and work the yellow row. Chain 1, skip the white row, work this pink row. Chain 1, skip the yellow row, work the white row, all the way down the line. And now we can place our last single crochet here in the corner. I'm going to chain 2 and join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet of that row. And you can see we have a beautiful clean border around our work. This was the side where the floats were on the back. This is the side where the floats are on the front. You can barely see it. And once you block this and get it all sorted out however you need your project to be, nobody should be looking close enough to try and find where your floats are anyway. This is how you do the tricolor linen stitch pattern. Thanks again to WeCrochet for providing the yarn for today's tutorial. If you're looking for a yarn to make your own tricolor linen stitch blanket, here are a few from WeCrochet that I can recommend. The first one is going to be Brava worsted. Now this is the kind of yarn that you keep in your stash. This 100% premium acrylic yarn is machine washable and dryable and comes in over 50 gorgeous shades. Comfy worsted is a great choice for warm weather blankets. This yarn combines Pima cotton and acrylic for a lightweight, breathable blanket that you'll be able to use for generations. Now, if you like a little luxury, might I suggest City Tweed Aran. This yarn combines merino wool, alpaca, and Donegal tweed into a yarn so soft you have to feel it to believe it. I'm just imagining this woodsy color palette in a blanket. It will be perfect for long evenings in front of the fireplace. Browse these yarns and even more from WeCrochet. I have links to everything down in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see y'all next time.